Hi guys, in today's lesson we're going to talk about the different types of angles that are formed. Some of this should be a review for you. What I want you to do first is I want you to pause this video and I want you to go through and read through all of these diagrams and pictures. I'll wait for you to do that now. Okay, now that you've had an opportunity to do that, let's go to the next page. And we're going to do a few examples. So the directions up here at the top, it says, using complementary and supplementary angles. The first question, what is the complement of 20 degrees? Remember that when you're talking about complementary angles, you're talking about two angles that add up to 90. So I have one angle that is 20 degrees plus another angle I don't know, we'll call x, and together they add up to 90. So you could set up an equation for this, 20 plus x equals 90. If I go through and solve that equation, I'd have to subtract 20 on each side. So x would be 70 degrees. I'm just going to slide that up real quick. There we go. So x would be 70 degrees. So the complement of a 20 degree angle is a 70 degree angle. Let's look at the one underneath it. We're going to look at this one right here. It says, what is the complement of 45 degrees? Again, I can set up an equation for this. So some angle measurement plus 45 is going to equal 90. Because remember, when you're talking about complementary angles, that's two angles that add up to 90 degrees. So if I were to solve this equation, I would subtract both sides by 45. 90 minus 45 is 45. So the complement to an angle that measures 45 degrees is another angle that measures 45 degrees. Okay, let's do the one directly underneath. It says, what is the complement of 18 degrees? So at this point, you probably know exactly what I'm going to say. I'm going to write x plus 18 equals 90. Now, I could have written 18 plus x equals 90, and that would also work. Okay, to solve this, I'm going to subtract 18 on each side. Really, all I'm doing is doing 90 minus 18. So 90 minus 18 is 62. So that would be 62 degrees. I'm going to highlight that answer. Okay, let's look at the other three that we had. So now we're doing supplements. What is the supplement of 20 degrees? Remember that supplementary angles, that's two angles that add up to 180 degrees. So this is very similar to the previous ones, but this time I'm going to write x plus 20 equals 180. To solve, I'm going to subtract 20 on each side. 180 minus 20, is 160. So that would be 160 degrees. Okay, the next one, what is the supplement of 45 degrees? Remember, they're talking about supplement here. So I'm going to write x plus 45 equals 180. I'm going to subtract 45 on both sides. So if I do 180 minus 45, I'm going to get 135. So 135 degrees. Let's do one more, and then I'll give you an opportunity to do some practice on your own. So what is the supplement of 118 degrees? So I'm going to write x plus 118 equals 180. Because remember, supplementary angles, that's two angles that add up to 180. So to figure this one out, all I've got to do is figure out 180 degrees minus 118 degrees. And that's going to be 62 degrees. Okay, now I want you to try this problem right here on your own. So it's asking you to name pairs of complementary angles, supplementary angles, vertical angles, and adjacent angles. You may need to look back at the first page in order to review what those terms mean. So pause the video and complete those problems now. Okay, so now that you've had an opportunity to try this middle section on your own, please check your answers. Now, please know that for the question about supplementary angles, I only named one pair of supplementary angles, but there are others. So if you're not sure if yours are correct, then you need to get with your teacher, okay? The only pair of vertical angles is the one I have listed. And there are additional pairs of adjacent angles here. Again, if you are not sure if the pair that you've named are adjacent, then please speak with your teacher about that. Okay, so we're going to do this bottom section. We're going to do a few together, and then you'll have an opportunity to try a few of these on your own. So it just says to find all the angle measurements, and then all those angles are listed there. All right, so let's just get right to it. What I would suggest, since you're having to find all the angle measurements, instead of looking over here, I'm just going to look at my diagram and fill in as much information as I can. Okay, so for example, I know that this angle right here is also 50 degrees because this angle and this angle are vertical angles, and we know that vertical angles are congruent. Okay, I also know, I see that this is a straight line. So these two angles right here are going to be supplementary, meaning they add up to 180 degrees. So if I do 180 degrees minus 50, I get 130. So this angle should be 130 degrees. And to be clear, I'll highlight those real quick. All right, so we also have a right angle here. And remember that right angles measure 90 degrees. And then I have one other angle that I'm going to try to figure out. So right here, I have a straight line. So I have three angles here that are going to make that straight line. And so those three angles would be all supplementary. So two of them are already given. We know that one of them is 50 degrees and the other is 90 degrees. So if I do 50 plus 90, I'm going to get 140. And then if I subtract that from 180, I get 40. So that means this angle right here is going to be 40 degrees. Okay? So what I'm going to have you do now is I want you to pause the video and I want you to fill in this information here based on that diagram. Okay, so hopefully you were able to fill in the information in this table or rectangle. If you have any questions about any of the problems that you have seen in this lesson, please remember to contact your teacher so that you can get assistance. Once you've submitted this assignment, you're ready to do your independent practice. Good luck.